Hello, and welcome to a presentation on digital wellness. From a therapist perspective, what exactly is digital wellness and why is it so important? I'm Dr. Jennifer Laffier. I'm an assistant professor at Ontario Tech University in Ontario, Canada. I'm a licensed therapist who's been in private practice for 25 years. I research in the area of mental health, happiness and resiliency, and the effects of technology on mental health. I'm the director of the Mental Health in the Digital Age Lab, which explores all the different technologies that we use on a regular basis and what that's doing to our mental health. Now, I think most of you have heard the terms digital literacy or media literacy, perhaps from school. Digital and media literacy usually refers to 21st century skills that are needed for living and working in media and information rich societies like you do today. Now, media literacy generally focuses on teaching youth to be critically engaged consumers of media, keyword being critical consumers, while digital literacy is more about enabling youth to participate in digital media safely, wisely, and ethically. Key digital literacy skills, for example, are searching effectively for resources online, being able to distinguish credible sources between fake news, myth, social myth, and reality or evidence based research. It's about protecting our privacy, protecting our information online. It's about giving credit to other people's work, so that conversation around plagiarism. And it's also about understanding our digital footprints and what are we leaving behind for the world to see? What are we putting out there? It's also about respecting each other's ideas and opinions when they're put out in such a public world. Our worlds have changed. They're no longer these small bubbles of who lives on our street or who's down the corner house. We have a much broader world to navigate. Now, Media Smarts is Canada's leading center for digital media literacy. They have a lot of great resources. And even if you just look at their homepage around digital media literacy, the kinds of topics that come up, we could be talking about when we look at digital media, we could be talking about social media, but we could also be talking about TV, music, video games, the internet, any sort of technological devices that we use on a regular basis, the new tools that we have at home, turn our heat on from somewhere else, open up our garage doors. These are what we call the Internet of Things. Now, sometimes with the Internet of Things, there can be issues. For example, media issues might be gender representation, diversity in media, violence, body image. Digital issues might be cyberbullying or cybersecurity, online hate, online ethics, privacy, sexual exploitation. These are concerns that might come up with digital and media literacy. So often we're trying to educate children and youth on having digital media literacy, on safe, ethical, and wise use of media and technology. This is an image that shows the idea of digital literacy. What are we trying to teach individuals? So we're trying to teach how to communicate online, to collaborate and participate, how to learn in a virtual space, how to develop yourself, how to access information, to critically think about information and data, to be innovative and creative, and to have technical proficiency. Something that was sort of added later on as the years went by was this idea of digital identity and digital well-being, safety and security for yourself. I believe, as both an educator and a therapist, that this is the most important section. I don't think people can have the rest of these elements until they have what I call literacy and digital wellness. This is the missing piece. This is the piece we really should focus on, especially for ourselves. It's knowing how to use media and technology in safe, ethical, self-aware, and healthy ways that enhances one's overall well-being and happiness. See, mental health All of us have the capacity for mental health, and we may fluctuate in and out of good mental health and poor mental health over our lifespan, even sometimes on a monthly, weekly, or daily basis. Mental health is the capacity for each and all of us to feel, think, and act in ways that enhance our ability to enjoy life, deal with the challenges we face. It is a positive sense of emotional, spiritual well-being that respects the importance of culture, equity, social justice, interconnections, and personal dignity. I know it's a mouthful. It's a really big definition, but it really kind of shows us that it's not always about being happy all the time. It's about having the capacity to feel, think, and act in ways that enhance our ability to enjoy life. It's about having resiliency to face the challenges that come our way. It's about having a balance, an emotional and spiritual balance where we feel whole. And it's about these elements of equity, social justice, and dignity. You take these away, and my mental health will suffer. Well being is a term that we use where it's more encompassing. It's a broader term, it's a more holistic term. It's not just about our mental health, it's also about our physical health, cognitive health, social health, emotional, and our spiritual. It's about all of our aspects put together and how they interact with each other. See, my physical health can impact my cognitive health, right? If you haven't had any sleep, it's really hard to concentrate. And my emotional health, how I'm feeling, maybe there's some stress, anxiety, some depression. Well, that's going to impact all three areas. If you think about it, physically, I'll be tired. I won't have energy. I'll feel achy. My thought process won't be very good. I'll have a hard time recalling information or paying attention. And socially, I just won't feel like being social. So it's a holistic term, well being. So when we think about digital wellness literacy, I want you to ask yourself, does my social media use actually make me happy or feel good about myself? Am I spending so much time on media and technology that it's actually making me physically unhealthy, less social or productive? Does constant exposure to negative news on media make me feel sad, lonely, or depressed? And in what ways can I use various technologies to support my mental health? And what can I do to mitigate the negative effects of technology? These are questions we would constantly be asking ourselves, and we should, because we do see, although technologies can have positive effects on our life, there are risks. Research shows that excessive social media use can cause depression and anxiety in youth. Too much negative news could lead to despair or negativity. I just completed a study on people's social media use during COVID-19 pandemic, and we're hearing from a lot of people that have said they had to turn off their social media during the pandemic because it was just too much negative news and it was leading to depression. Research also shows that over 60% of youth believe they spend too much time online. Interestingly, 40% of that 60% said they couldn't help themselves. So, how can we increase our digital wellness literacy? Well, we have to begin with knowledge of mental health, understanding what positive mental health looks like and what are signs and symptoms of unhealthy behaviors, unhealthy thoughts, unhealthy feelings. What are signs and symptoms of mental health problems? Because we need that knowledge to be able to catch things in ourselves. Next, we need self awareness. We need to pay attention to our own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to constantly be self aware of how we're acting, how we're thinking, so that we can see where there's problems. Where are our strengths? Where are our weaknesses? What do we need to change? So we need constant self awareness and self reflection. We also need the skills to make healthy changes. We need things such as patience, courage, motivation, that continued reflection, and we need to know where to search for supports. Where should I go to get information on this topic? Where can I go to actually get supports to help me be more literate in this area? Another component to digital wellness literacy is the ability to help others, especially in a virtual world. So, are you able to recognize mental health problems in a virtual world? If someone is on a Zoom call with you or FaceTime with you, are you able to actually catch that maybe they're stressed or they're not doing so well? And then do you know how to communicate with them? Do you know how to validate that person, to de escalate that person? Do you know how to reach out for supports online if you are worried about another person? A lot of social media sites have great tools for you to reach out to help someone who's in distress. So it's not just about helping ourselves, the digital wellness, it's also about being able to support others in a virtual environment. Once we're able to do this, then we can start to find balance. We can use technology, but in healthy ways, but also being able to incorporate other important things in our life, such as friends, family, nature, learning, education, travel, hobbies, whatever it is. But it's about finding that balance. And it's also about finding what makes us happy and being able to thrive, being the best that we can be. And so that really takes us or requires us to be self reflective of the various different technologies that we're using in our life and how they're impacting our mental health. We'll then also be able to have healthy relationships because we'll be in a better place. And we'll be able to have healthy relationships face to face and also in virtual environments. So, in closing, I want you to consider this topic and what you want to learn more about. This was a short presentation, so really think about what's important here in this conversation and what do you want to learn more about. I also want you to consider what you think is your own level of mental wellness literacy. Have you even considered this topic before? Have you ever actually sat down and considered all the different technologies you use on a regular basis and how that's impacting your well-being, your mental health? So I'd like to thank you for being present today virtually for our presentation. I wish you the best of the luck in your endeavors today and moving forward. And I'd like to just give you my email here in case anybody has any questions, comments. Feel free to email me at jennifer.laffier@uoit.ca. Have a great day, everyone.